Bossier Correctional Facility. Today is Thursday, December 1st, 2022. It's 9:38.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Would you introduce yourself for our record?
Gary Hamilton.
The officer. Yes, sir, Mr. Hamilton. We'd like to hear from the officer.
Yes, Sergeant Todd Roberts, security.
Gene Murphy, Program Manager for Steve Holt.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Hamilton, now will you introduce yourself? Tell us your name, FC number.
Gary Hamilton, 413-772.
All right, Mr. Hamilton. My name is Cheryl Renatza. I'm serving as chairman of today's parole panel. We have today seated to my left is Mr. Alvin Roche, and to my right is Mrs. Bonnie Jackson. You are represented by counsel this morning. Mr. Kelly, would you introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, Ms. Renatza. My name is Keenan Kelly. I'm a lawyer at Kelly and Townsend Law Firm in Natchitoches, Louisiana.
And represent Mr. Hamilton. Thank you, sir. I will read some information, identifying information into the record, Mr. Hamilton, ask you to confirm it. Your case has been assigned to me, so I'll take the lead on the interview. We'll hear from Mr. Murphy. You'll be allowed to make a statement. Then we'll turn it over to Mr. Keenan for his presentation and to wrap it up for us. All right? Ready?
Can you speak up a little bit?
Feeling nervous?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Mr. Hamilton, you're currently classified as a fifth felony offender. You're currently serving a 10-year sentence, having been sentenced in May of 2022 for possession with intent to distribute methamphetamines. You have a parole eligibility date, which was November 27, 2022. Your good time date is November 25th, 2023. Full term is May 26, 2030. Is all that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you, sir?
42.
How long have you been incarcerated on this 10-year sentence?
So, I came to jail June 2020.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm gonna just tell you the notes I made in my record, in my notes rather. The Natchitoches Department knows you pretty well, don't they?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, how old were you when you were first arrested? Before you were an adult? You remember?
Before I was under the door.
Yeah.
Probably like 13.
And what was that for? Do you remember?
Possession of Schedule 2.
At 13.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
my note says, looks like you were arrested much younger than that for shoplifting, although those charges weren't pressed or prosecuted. You were like 8.
Yeah.
You had a whole series of thefts. And then that was my next question was, when did you start using drugs? You'd say it was about 13.
No, I started using drugs about 13, 14.
What did you start with?
Marijuana, alcohol.
And then what? Because you're here for meth. So how did you progress to methamphetamine?
Well, I never did do methamphetamines. I only made the choices of distributing it. And my only drug or choice was just marijuana and alcohol and barbiturate pills.
And so it looks like you may have gone through that CPAW program back in 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you complete it?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, so what happened? You know, you completed that program in 2014, and then I'm looking at revocation in January 2017. Then you got back out on good time, I believe. Later that same year, you received some administrative sanctions, and then we're back. So why?
I wouldn't stop smoking marijuana.
What about the alcohol?
Yeah, alcohol plays a major part into making that choice.
So you're currently, how far have you gone? You're in the CPAW program, right? Again,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
and how long have you been in there?
I've been here since the end of July, but I just started the program like in September. So
Well, what are you getting out of that program this time? Are you picking up anything you might have missed the first go round?
I mean, I really realized my weaknesses, and I kind of like isolate myself from most of my family, and that kind of caused me to make those choices. But since incarceration, I've been like building a relationship with my family, and I also now have grandchildren. So it's like, I have a lot more to stay free and soul for, and that give me a lot of strength to do so.
Good, and so you just missed all that. They told you that same stuff in 2014. You just you weren't ready for it yet.
I had just did like a long sentence. I had did like 12 years and 10 months, and it was on another charge, but I had come at the end of that sentence. I came through here, and I really didn't look at it like I needed it, and I really did. I did participate in it though, and it gave me the tools. It really gave you the tools to keep everything fixed if you really wanted to. But now I'm looking at it now.
You wasn't ready then. You ready now?
Yeah, I'm most definitely ready now, and I understand. I can basically remember everything I learned, and I'm really ahead of what I've been doing. I've read through my books already, and I'm like way ahead, and I'm ready to use the tools that I have to keep myself straight.
What are your triggers?
Alcohol.
What's it take for you to stay away from that? What's it take?
Spending my spare time with my children, my grandchildren, keeping my relationship with them fixed, good. Like I said, when I was out there, I was after doing a long time in prison, I kind of like isolated myself from them and separated myself from them a lot. And that
Your
was
support group.
yeah, they are my support.
Yeah.
And
All right. I'll tell you what, let me ask Mr. Murphy. Mr. Murphy, what can you tell us about Mr. Hamilton?
Please the board, I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit, so if you can't hear me, let me know, okay? He's wrapping up with the holiday kind of hitting us with Thanksgiving. He's at the end of his first phase 1 of completion. So he's working through his phase 1 of risk management, living in balance. Began his MRTs, those core classes. So he'll be soon to roll into his phase 2 portion. He's meeting his treatment plan goals as far as, where we're at with his phasing of his program. He is also has interest in participating in the MAT program, our opiate program. He wouldn't begin the phase for that until February, to where he can go into that portion of the classes. But like I said, he is meeting his treatment plan goals. So he's progressing nicely.
So the MAT program would be for the alcohol?
That's the Vivitrol program. Yes, ma'am. The Vivitrol and the opiate for pills.
Good. All right. And so once he goes through that, he would likely successfully completes it, likely immediate release. Is that right? Or have you looked at that?
Ma'am, you cut out, ma'am, at the very end of that.
If he successfully goes through your MAT program, he would likely be an immediate release.
Man, as far as his projection dates, I wouldn't have knowledge of that right now. I don't have that note in front of me.
Have you looked at that, Mr. Hamilton?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what do you think? Do you think he'd be an immediate release?
Yes, ma'am. I would. Upon graduation, I will be immediate release.
You would be, because you'll get those credits. So what do you think? You have interest in going all the way through the MAT program?
I feel that like the last time I went through this, I can remember everything. That's why I'm ahead in my books and everything. I read through my books, I completed them, and basically I'm just waiting on to get for them to catch up and complete it with me. But I'm ahead on all that, and I feel that I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready to do what I need to do to stay straight.
Well, when I look, I'm worried about that because you're a fifth felony offender.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Our record that doesn't tell me what you're saying. So I'll just sit back, listen to my colleagues, and then you have any questions, Mr. Roche?
No.
Jackson? Is there anything you'd like to say before we turn it over to Mr. Keenan?
Yeah, I've been studying, like I've studied a lot through the things that I like to do, which is carpentry, mechanic, and yard work. That's some of the things I was doing before I came here too. And that's the things I like to get up and do daily, and I've studied a lot of that, and I'm prepared to enroll in Ashworth College, which is like a 4-month enrollment, and to complete my carpentry license, and also get my CDL because I know there's a shortage on truck driving, and I've studied that book also, and I'm prepared I've been preparing myself for those things since my incarceration, my whole two and a half years, and I'm really ready to take the tests and get my certification and move forward.
All right. Well, Mr. Kelly, what would you like to tell us?
May it please the board. I've represented Gary since he became incarcerated on June 4th, 2020. So he has been incarcerated since that date. I can tell the board that during my entirety of representation of Mr. Hamilton, he has been remorseful and taken responsibility for his actions. It's my understanding that he's worked very hard while he's been incarcerated to improve himself and put himself in a position to be a good contributing member of society. He does have a good support system with his children and grandchildren. I believe that if he were given the opportunity, he would be a good contributing member to society. He has attempted to get in the Ashworth program. I don't believe that's been made available to him, but he's wanted to. And, we would just pray that you please consider granting his parole.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Kelly. All right. I think we're ready to vote. Mr. Hamilton, I do have concerns about you.
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
you are afforded the state parole program in the past. You know it's a good program. You've acknowledged that it's a good program, and you didn't take advantage. And wow, we're giving you the second opportunity. I really want you to finish the program.
Okay.
But it is a voluntary thing, so I don't know that I can't require you to do that. But I would be willing to grant your parole once you complete the substance abuse program, phase 2, I suppose. I don't know when that'll happen, Mr. Murphy. Tell me that.
I believe, forgive me on my dates, his projected graduation is May 26th, I believe, the last Friday of the month.
Okay. And that would, so he would still have time if he chose to do so, the MAT.
Yes, ma'am. He would begin the MAT class in February. And that runs 90 days up to the graduation. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Mr. Hamilton, my vote would be to grant your parole after you complete that C12 program, with the special conditions that you follow whatever aftercare plan they recommend.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Hamilton, good morning.
Good morning.
My vote is the same with the same conditions.
Mrs. Jackson.
I concur, same, condition.
All right, so you have the agreement and clear release, so take advantage of that program opportunity. It's gonna give you a chance to succeed when you get out. Good luck, sir.
All right, thank y'all.
Thanks, Lord.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Fowler.
Thank you,
And then-
guys.
That concludes our business at Bossier. It's 9:46. We'll be adjourned. Thank you.
Good day.
Frankly, I was surprised. I don't know if you guys saw it because the recording didn't hit in, but he rolled in on a wheelchair, so I don't believe he has the use of his legs. He was a really soft-speaking, likable guy, and I believe him totally that he doesn't use meth. And I think the board did as well. There's something very distinct about a meth user. You can't hide it. And I think he was being honest. His drinking leads him to do other things. But man, he's dealing for the money, obviously, and that's where I think the root of the problem is, right? It's not so simple, like, well, just take some courses and, what's going to stop him from not just getting back there? I don't really, to me, it seems like it's just clear that it's a money thing. They didn't seem to bring that up. I'm happy to let him out, but I was surprised 2 years in on a 7-year sentence. I didn't know you can get parole that quickly, but I guess it's part of the sentencing. But man, hopefully he can stay out. I don't see how it's. I guess just staying sober, giving up on the money, just living on whatever you can get. Man. Well, I'd love to hear your comments on this.